Back at the end of my first year of university, I watched the Lord of the Rings film for the first time with my housemates. And that's 12 years since it actually came out. And my housemates at the time were die-hard Lord of the Rings fans, as I imagine most people are. But at the end of it, I never actually came out liking Lord of the Rings. However, I did fall in love with Gollum, as most people do who get into the motion capture industry. The way he was able to kind of go towards the uncanny valley, but yet still not pass it completely for such an early moment in the motion capture industry. So, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. Hello. Sorry about that, but did everyone hear what I was saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so with Gollum, I fell in love with the uncanny valley and how immersion is such an important thing for entertainment, and for us as humans, we crave immersion. And with that, I started to look at what actually affected our immersions. And I found out motion capture was a major part of that. And as the years have gone on with motion capture, it's no surprise that a lot of studios, publishers, and developers have invested a lot of money in motion capture. The reason for this is so that they can captivate the audience as best as possible. Throughout the years, you can see that the systems that studios would use have changed. No longer do we have, no longer do we have ping-pong-sized trackers on suits anymore. We have, you can capture it via smaller trackers. You can also go with paint or facial capture as well, which is really amazing throughout the years. And to a point where you don't need to be in a studio with no sunlight to be able to capture motion capture. You can actually go out and get the data in the actual fields. So actors can actually act where they need to act instead of a studio they've created inside. So as the technology has gotten cheaper, lighter, and better, other issues have come into play. As all this has gone on, we've had a push from immersion as well. So as audiences have become more accustomed to more immersive games, more immersive films, we've pushed for this, and you can see this with all the different versions of the motion capture technologies available nowadays. We are no longer limited just to optical tracking. We have different versions. We have different types of tracking, and I can sit here all day talking to you guys about the different types of tracking. But that's a talk for a much longer talk I should be given. But as we have the push from immersion, from motion capture industry, we've also had the push from the games industry to get people into their games as best as possible. But the issue with this is, whereas in a film you can see everything from the perspective of what the director wants you to see, in games this isn't the case a lot of the time. You have a bit more of an interactive role to play. So things that you could hide in a film, you can't hide in a game really these days. And because of that, you've had the Wii U, you've had the Xbox cameras, and since the last 5 years, we've had the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive come out. And this just proves that as we are evolving and as the technology is getting better out there, we are going towards more of an immersive reality. So I don't know if many of you know this, but the technology used for virtual reality is very fundamentally based on motion capture. The same tracking idea is basically the same, just at a different scale. So when HTC Vive and Oculus Rift started releasing their VR systems, we at iKinema were very excited because because you were getting very good motion from just 3 data points in your living room. And we already have something very similar to that in our live action pipeline, which takes 6 data points, and you can get a full body solve just from 6 data points, which, to be honest, 10 years ago was probably myth or just jokes that you would tell people just to scare them. So when HTC released their track and their HTC Vive, when HTC released their Vive system, we thought we'd put it to the test with our live action software, and we did that, and we found out that you could get pretty good full body capture in your living room just using the HTC Vive system. So this opened new possibilities for indie developers, students, and people who don't want to go out and spend an arm and a leg on a motion capture system. They can buy one now for less than $2,500. And with the arrival of the HTC trackers, that just made things a lot easier, because the original way we tried the we call it 6 rigid body solving at iKinema. So if I refer to that, you guys know what I'm talking about. So the 6 rigid body solving, the first way we did it, we actually got controllers, and it took us a good 2 days to try and figure out where the best location for the controllers would be on the feet. So when you think about it, you have the hand controllers, and you need a positioning which doesn't move too much, so you don't have a lot of interrupted data. So when the trackers came out, we got really happy, and if you guys want to try out we're calling this software iKinema Orion. I'm demoing it outside in the foyer. Feel more than happy to come and try it. So as everything's gone towards more immersive, it's also been pushed towards real time as well, because no one wants to see their character, no one wants to be in a virtual reality world and be moving and have their head move 10 seconds later than their head actually moves in real life. So real time has become a major factor in the industry as well. So with the whole HTC Vive system coming into our homes and being able to get good motion capture data from it, this opens a lot of possibilities for us. So maybe not in the next 5 years, but in the next 10 years, next 15 years, virtual reality worlds could be a lot more of a fundamental part of how the industry moves forward. And because of that, you can have virtual reality YouTube stars, you can have virtual reality personas. So if any of you know Hatsune Miku, who's a Japanese pop idol, you can imagine her in virtual reality. She's already kind of there. So we're already pushing towards that by the So as we have the options of creating virtual reality personas, it also brings up the question of when will we be able to immerse ourselves truly in games? And this is already happening with virtual reality experiences throughout the world, so like the Void and the Other World VR, which is coming to London in next month. You can actually have virtual reality experiences where you feel you can immerse yourself as best you can into these worlds. But beyond VR experiences and games and anything like that, VR and motion tracking is becoming a tool for artists. And when I mean artists, I mean more of the traditional artists, pen on paper, storyboards. And I say this because a few weeks ago I met Ralph Palmer. I don't know if any of you guys know who that is, but he used to be one of the lead animators at Disney during the golden age of Disney. And he's working at the NFTV, which is a university in the Netherlands now. And he was talking about how he's able to draw a lot faster and a lot better quality in virtual reality using a HTC painting that you can buy at the store. And when he told me about this reminded me of a quote I heard a few years ago from John Lasseter, which was art challenges technology and technology inspires art. So as we're moving forward in the industry with more immersive games, more immersive consoles coming out, and everything becoming more realistic and more believable, this is all because we artists and people who work in technology have worked together to be able to get to this point. A good example of this is James Cameron, who spent better part of 2 decades just waiting until the technology could come out so that he could create Avatar. So the artists have always been there, and now the technology side is just making its way. So so that we're able to create something both truly immersive, both artists and technology, people working tech need to come together to create this. Thank you very much.